In the cold, dark depths of space, the Galactic Empire ruled with an iron fist. The Empire had crushed countless planets, enslaved civilizations, and destroyed anything that dared to challenge them. They were powerful, ruthless, and unafraid. But they made one mistake, underestimating humans. On Earth, humans lived peacefully, focused on their own growth, creativity, and peace. They were not a warlike species, not like the other violent alien races scattered throughout the galaxy. Humans believed in diplomacy, in finding solutions without conflict. But the Galactic Empire saw this as weakness. They saw a target, and they decided to experiment. A young human girl, no more than 16 years old, was taken from Earth. She had been living in a small town, unaware of the danger that lurked beyond her world. One day, without warning, the Empire's ships descended. They didn't care who she was or what she'd done. She was simply a tool, someone they could use to test their cruel theories about human weakness. The girl was taken from her home and imprisoned in a high-tech cell on a cold, desolate world. It was a planet where no one cared about her pain, where no one could help her. She was alone, isolated, and trapped. The Empire, with its advanced technology, had no intention of letting her escape. They had plans for her. At first, they tried to break her with simple tactics: threats, isolation, and hunger. They thought that with enough physical discomfort she would give in. But the girl surprised them. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She just stared at them, with eyes that showed neither fear nor defeat. This puzzled the Empire. They couldn't understand why she wasn't breaking. So, they escalated their methods. They started with physical torture, painful, brutal, and relentless. Every day, they subjected her to tests. They cut into her skin, forced her to endure high temperatures, and kept her awake for days on end. Their scientists watched from behind glass windows, taking notes, convinced they could break her. But every time, the girl held her ground. She refused to show them weakness. The Empire's leaders became frustrated. They had never encountered anyone who resisted so strongly. They were used to breaking the spirits of their prisoners. But the girl, she was different. They didn't understand why she refused to fall. They didn't know it, but they were making a mistake that would haunt them forever. As the torture continued, something else was happening far away. Back on Earth, the girl's family, friends, and even strangers were hearing whispers of her capture. The story spread like wildfire. At first, it was a rumor, one of many in the galaxy. But then it became clear that this wasn't just a random act of cruelty. This was something personal. This was an attack on humanity itself. People all over Earth felt the sting of it. How could the Empire do this to one of their own? How could they hurt a helpless girl so much? It was unthinkable. For the first time, humans started to feel anger they had never known before. For the first time, they began to understand what it meant to be pushed too far. But the Empire didn't know that Earth was beginning to change. They didn't know that every person who heard about the girl's suffering was now filled with rage. They didn't realize that every story of her pain, every moment of suffering she endured, was becoming a rallying cry. The more they hurt her, the more they awakened something deep within humanity, a force they would soon regret facing. The Empire had thought they were untouchable. They believed that no one could challenge them. After all, they had conquered galaxies, crushed rebellions, and destroyed entire civilizations. The human girl was just another test subject, a piece of their experiment. But she wasn't just a piece to them. She had become something much bigger, something that would change the course of history. As the Empire tortured her, they unknowingly began the countdown to their downfall. They pushed her to the edge, but they didn't break her. In fact, they only made her stronger. Every time they tried to destroy her spirit, they only fed the fire that would soon come for them. The Empire might have been the most powerful force in the galaxy, but they had just made the worst mistake of their lives. They didn't understand the strength of a human spirit. And soon, they would learn just how deadly that spirit could be. Back on Earth, the story of the young girl's capture and suffering spread quickly. At first, it was just whispers, rumors in the streets, online discussions, and news broadcasts. But as the details of her torture became clear, something deep inside humanity began to stir. What the Galactic Empire had not realized was that their cruelty was awakening a power they had never imagined. People all over the world began to feel the same thing: anger. It started small, with a few protests in cities, but it quickly grew. As more and more people heard what had happened to the girl, their anger turned into something far more dangerous: unity. It wasn't just her family who felt the pain. It wasn't just her friends who cried out for justice. The entire world began to feel like it had been personally attacked. And that was the Empire's mistake. The leaders of Earth had always prided themselves on keeping the peace, avoiding war, and finding diplomatic solutions to problems. But the Empire had crossed a line. They had hurt one of their own, and now they would face the consequences. A call for action went out across the planet. Governments, military leaders, and ordinary people came together with one goal: to free the girl and make the Galactic Empire pay for what they had done. The message was clear: no one hurts a human and gets away with it. The first sign of true action came when the United Earth government made a public announcement. In a rare, urgent speech, the President of Earth addressed the entire planet. "We do not seek war," she said, her voice steady and full of emotion. "But we will not allow this. We will not stand by while one of our own suffers at the hands of tyrants. The Galactic Empire has made a grave mistake. They will answer for this." The speech resonated with people from every corner of Earth. People in cities, towns, and villages all stopped what they were doing to listen. The anger that had been simmering beneath the surface now burned bright. It was no longer just about one girl. It was about the honor of all humans. It was about showing the galaxy that Earth was not to be underestimated. And then something incredible happened. As Earth's leaders began organizing a response, ordinary citizens took matters into their own hands. The news of the girl's suffering sparked something deep in the human spirit. Across the globe, civilians, scientists, engineers, and even children began to create. They worked together, pooling their knowledge and skills. They built machines, weapons, and technology that had been kept secret for centuries. In underground laboratories and hidden factories, Earth's true power was starting to take shape. The Empire had thought they were dealing with a helpless, peaceful species, but they didn't understand the resilience of humans. When pushed to the limit, humans did not break. They fought back. The girl's family, along with countless others, worked tirelessly to gather information about the Empire's strongholds. But Earth wasn't just preparing for a rescue mission. They were preparing for war. Humans had learned the hard way that sometimes peace could only be achieved through strength. The Galactic Empire had shown no mercy, so now it was time for humanity to show them what true power looked like. Across the planet, soldiers began to train. New recruits, young and old, volunteered to fight. They knew they weren't just fighting for one girl anymore. They were fighting for all of humanity. People who had never picked up a weapon in their lives now found themselves training to defend their world. The anger, which had once been scattered and uncertain, was now focused and organized. Earth was preparing to show the galaxy that no one would harm one of their own without facing the consequences. Military bases that had once been quiet and peaceful were now filled with activity. Warships, hidden away for years, began to rise from secret hangars, powered up and ready for battle. The hum of engines echoed through Earth's skies as humanity's true military might was revealed. In cities and homes, in the streets, humans talked, shared their stories, and made plans. It wasn't just leaders making decisions anymore. It was every single person on Earth. Every citizen, every human, felt a deep connection to the girl and her suffering. It was as if her pain had become their pain, and her fight had become their fight. Humanity had always prided itself on being diverse, different cultures, languages, and backgrounds. But in that moment, They were united in one purpose. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake, and now humanity was standing together, stronger than ever. The rage that had started as a whisper was now a roaring storm. The world was ready. The Galactic Empire would soon know that no one could hurt a human without paying the price. The response had begun, and Earth was not backing down. In secret underground bunkers, human warships powered up. In space, advanced fleets prepared to leave Earth's orbit. The girl's fate had sealed the Empire's doom. The Galactic Empire had taken a human life, and now they would face the full wrath of humanity. Earth was ready to show the galaxy that when humans are united, nothing can stop them, not even the most powerful empire in the universe. The anger on Earth had reached a boiling point. The Galactic Empire had made the mistake of underestimating humanity. They thought Earth was weak, that humans were unprepared for war. But what the Empire didn't know was that Earth had been preparing for a day like this, a day when their strength would be tested, and they would show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. For years, Earth had kept its military secrets hidden, buried deep beneath the surface. While the rest of the galaxy thought humans were simply a peaceful race, Earth had quietly built something powerful, something beyond the Empire's imagination. This hidden power was about to be unleashed. Across the planet, every country, every city, every human began to feel the weight of what was coming. Governments had long known that their peaceful ways would not always be enough to protect Earth. They had prepared in silence, building technology and weapons in secret. Now, it was time for the world to see the fruits of those preparations. The first step was a quiet one. Earth's leaders, along with military commanders, gathered in secret. They knew they couldn't trust the Empire to let them negotiate or speak of peace. They had to act quickly, before the Empire could retaliate. They spoke of the girl, of her suffering, but also of their plans to retaliate. They discussed weapons, strategies, and the technologies they had kept hidden from the rest of the galaxy. Earth wasn't just going to send a few ships to the Empire. They were preparing to send everything. The Empire had underestimated the power of humanity's creativity. The soldiers began working on a massive fleet of warships, ships that were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. These ships were built using technology that was years ahead of what the Empire could even imagine. Powerful engines, shields stronger than anything the Empire had ever developed, and weapons capable of destroying entire fleets. These ships would be Earth's response. They would be the symbol of human strength. In the hidden underground bunkers, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly. They were the ones who had designed these ships, these weapons. They had spent years studying the Empire, learning their weaknesses, and preparing their own advanced technology. Now the time had come to put it all into action. The engineers had created warships the size of small cities, ships that could carry thousands of soldiers, each one armed with the most advanced weaponry available. These ships weren't just for show. They were designed to break through the most heavily fortified defenses in the galaxy. They were designed to strike fear into the heart of any empire that dared to challenge Earth. The humans weren't just focused on ships and weapons, though. They had developed new forms of communication, systems that could bypass the Empire's security and hack into their systems. Every human had a role to play in this war. While the soldiers prepared to fight in space, civilians worked behind the scenes, gathering intelligence, building weapons, and keeping the war effort running smoothly. The entire planet was involved, united in one goal. But the most powerful weapon that Earth had was not its ships, its technology, or its military strength. It was the unity of its people. The Galactic Empire had underestimated how much humanity could achieve when they were united. They thought humans would crumble under pressure, but instead, they had awakened a force that was unstoppable. The people of Earth were driven by a single, simple purpose: to protect each other, to protect the girl, to show the Empire that they had made the biggest mistake of their lives. As the ships began to take shape, as the weapons powered up, Earth's leaders knew they were ready. The Galactic Empire had no idea what was coming for them. They had poked the hornet's nest, and now they would face the full fury of a united Earth. Across the planet, people were ready. Children who had never seen a war were learning to fight. Teachers, doctors, farmers, everyone had a role. It wasn't just about the soldiers anymore. It was about the entire human race. Every person on Earth was part of something bigger now. They were part of a movement that would change the galaxy forever. When the ships were ready, when the soldiers were trained, the world held its breath. Earth's military might was unmatched, and now the galaxy was about to learn the truth. The Empire had believed they could break Earth. They thought humanity was weak, but they were about to find out just how wrong they were. Earth wasn't sending a few soldiers into battle. They were sending a storm of warships, technology, and most of all, unity. The Galactic Empire had no idea how fierce the humans could be when they were pushed too far. The time for talking was over. The time for peace was over. The Galactic Empire had made the biggest mistake of their lives. Earth was coming, and nothing could stop them now. The moment had arrived. Earth was no longer just preparing for war. It was about to strike. The first wave of ships, all heavily armed and powered by the cutting-edge technology humans had secretly developed, was ready to leave Earth's orbit. The Galactic Empire had no idea what was coming for them. In the vast silence of space, Earth's fleet began to move. The warships were massive, far larger than anything the Empire had ever seen. Their engines hummed to life, casting an eerie glow in the darkness. These ships were not just weapons of destruction. They were symbols of human will, of unity, and of revenge. Every person on Earth had contributed to the creation of these ships, and now they were all on their way to deliver humanity's response. As the fleet moved closer to the Empire's territory, there was a sense of calm before the storm. It was as if the universe itself held its breath. The ships moved silently, each one carrying thousands of soldiers, engineers, and powerful weaponry. There was no turning back now. The humans had crossed the point of no return. On the bridge of the lead warship, Commander Marcus Stone stood, looking out at the vastness of space. He was a man of few words, but in this moment, his thoughts were clear. This wasn't just about defeating the Empire. It was about sending a message to the galaxy. Earth was no longer weak. Earth was no longer helpless. Earth was coming for revenge. The fleet approached the Empire's outer defenses, and as they did, the first signs of the Empire's response began to appear. Ships, smaller but heavily armed, emerged from the shadows of nearby planets. These were the Empire's patrol ships, designed to protect their borders from any threat, but they were no match for what was coming. Commander Stone's voice rang out across the ship's communication system. All hands, prepare for engagement. We are the storm. We are Earth's revenge. The first strike began with a single, overwhelming volley of laser fire. The warships unleashed their weapons with a deafening roar, and the first Empire patrol ship was torn apart. It didn't stand a chance. The Empire's ships had no time to react. They were hit by a barrage of energy blasts so powerful that they couldn't even fire back. Within moments, the first wave of the Empire's defenses was decimated. But the humans didn't stop there. They pressed on, moving deeper into Empire territory. Their ships were faster, their weapons stronger, and their will unbreakable. Every shot they fired was a message. You hurt one of us. Now, we will make you pay. As the battle raged on, the Empire began to realize the full extent of their mistake. They had expected a weak, unprepared opponent. Instead, they were facing a force unlike anything they had ever encountered. The humans fought with a fury and precision that shocked even the most seasoned soldiers in the Empire. Back on Earth, the people watched as the battle unfolded. They had been waiting for this moment, and now they could see the results. The news broadcasts showed the first signs of victory. Earth's ships had broken through the Empire's outer defenses. The people cheered, but there was no celebration yet. This was just the beginning. The true fight was yet to come. In space, the battle was far from over. The Empire's larger ships began to join the fray, and the human fleet faced its first real challenge. But the humans were ready. They fought like never before, using tactics the Empire had never seen. The Empire's ships were powerful, but they were slow and predictable. The human warships, on the other hand, were fast and agile. They danced around the Empire's defenses, hitting them from all sides, overwhelming them with their speed and firepower. The humans fought with a ferocity that made even the toughest soldiers in the Empire question their strength. It was as if the Empire had awoken a sleeping giant. The humans were relentless. They didn't just fight for victory, they fought for revenge. Every shot they fired was a reminder of the girl they had lost. Every ship they destroyed was a testament to the strength of humanity. As the battle intensified, the Empire's commanders scrambled to regroup. They had underestimated Earth, and now they were paying the price. Their ships were being destroyed at an alarming rate, and they had no idea how to stop it. The humans had shown no mercy, and now the Empire had no choice but to retreat. But Earth's fleet wasn't about to let them escape. The humans pursued the Empire's ships relentlessly, pushing them further back into their own space. The battle continued, the sounds of laser fire and explosions filling the air. The humans were unstoppable. And then the unthinkable happened. The Empire's flagship, the largest and most powerful ship in their fleet, came into view. It was a massive vessel, designed to be the heart of the Empire's military might. But it, too, was no match for Earth's fury. The humans fired everything they had, and with one final devastating blow, the flagship was destroyed. It was over. The first strike had been delivered. The Empire had been humbled. But this was just the beginning. Earth had sent a message to the galaxy, and it was loud and clear. Never underestimate humanity. The humans had shown the Empire what true power looked like, and now the galaxy would know that Earth was not a planet to be taken lightly. The battle was far from over, but the tides had already turned. Earth's first strike had shattered the Empire's confidence, and now, with each passing day, the Empire's hold on the galaxy weakened. The humans had shown them the strength of their will, the power of their technology, and the fierceness of their soldiers. The Empire had underestimated humanity, and now it was paying the price. In the days following the first strike, the human fleet pushed deeper into the heart of the Empire. Every world they passed, every ship they destroyed, brought them one step closer to total victory. The Empire had tried to regroup, to call in reinforcements, but it was too late. The humans were relentless, and their forces were growing stronger with each battle. Back on Earth, people watched with bated breath as the events unfolded. The news spread like wildfire, victory after victory, ship after ship destroyed. The people of Earth had come together in a way no one had ever imagined. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, and civilians, everyone had played their part in this war. And now, the result was clear. Earth was winning, and the Empire was losing. The leaders of the Empire, once so confident in their power, began to panic. They had been trained to conquer, to dominate, but they had never faced an enemy like this. The humans were everywhere, on their ships, on their planets, in their cities. No place was safe. No fleet could escape the relentless assault of Earth's warships. The Empire's fleets were being wiped out, one by one. In the final push to crush the Empire's will, Earth's fleet arrived at the heart of their capital system. The Empire's flagship, the massive vessel that had once been the symbol of their power, had already been destroyed. Now, the last remnants of the Empire's military forces stood between humanity and complete victory. Commander Marcus Stone stood at the helm of Earth's flagship, watching as the final battle approached. The last major battle. He could feel the tension in the air, the anticipation of the end. The Empire had no more tricks, no more reinforcements to call. This was it. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. The human fleet moved into position, surrounding the remaining Empire forces. It was a sight to behold, a perfect circle of Earth's warships, each one waiting for the signal to strike. The Empire's ships, already battered and broken, were no match for the full force of Earth's might. The humans didn't hesitate. With one loud command, the battle began. The humans launched their final assault, their ships firing in perfect harmony. Energy blasts filled the void of space, cutting through the Empire's defenses like a knife through butter. The Empire's ships fought back, but it was futile. The humans were faster, smarter, and more prepared than ever before. Their tactics were flawless. Each shot, each move, was calculated for maximum destruction. The final blow came when Earth's flagship, under Commander Stone's command, fired its most powerful weapon, the Titan Blast. A beam of concentrated energy shot out from the ship's core, tearing through the last remaining Empire cruiser and obliterating it in an instant. The Empire's last fleet had been destroyed. With that, the battle ended. The last remnants of the Galactic Empire fell into chaos. Without a leader, without any military strength, they were lost. Earth's victory was complete. But the humans didn't just stop at defeating the Empire's military. They had already planned for what came next, the rebuilding. The Empire's worlds, once under their iron grip, were now in the hands of Earth. The humans didn't come to conquer. They came to restore. They rebuilt the shattered planets, offering peace and unity to the people who had once been ruled by the Empire. Commander Stone stood at the head of a new era. His mission had been clear: to protect Earth and to show the galaxy that humanity would not be subjugated. But now his mission had evolved. It was no longer about revenge. It was about creating a new galaxy, one where Earth stood as a symbol of hope, strength, and unity. The humans had proven their strength. They had crushed the Empire, taken its power, and now they were ready to lead. They didn't do it through fear or domination. They did it through unity, strength, and a desire for justice. Across the galaxy, the people who had once lived under the Empire's oppressive rule now looked to Earth for guidance. The humans had become the leaders they had once feared. Earth's influence spread to every corner of the galaxy. With each passing day, the people of the galaxy saw what true leadership looked like. It was about compassion, strength, and the will to protect others. It was about doing what was right, not what was easy. Humanity had taken over, but not as conquerors. They had taken over as leaders. The Empire's fall had not just been the fall of a tyrant. It had been the rise of a new hope for the galaxy. And as Earth stood tall among the stars, the galaxy knew one thing for sure: humans were not to be underestimated. They had conquered the impossible. They had taken what was theirs, and now they would lead the galaxy into a new age of peace and strength. After the Empire's collapse, there was one thing on everyone's mind. One person who had become the symbol of humanity's strength. She was the reason the war had started, the reason humanity had come together like never before. The girl, once a prisoner of the Galactic Empire, had become the heart of the revolution. And now it was time for her to be free. Her name was Layla, a young girl who had suffered more than anyone should. The Empire had captured her when she was just a child, using her as a tool for their experiments. They thought they could break her. They thought they could use her to create fear, to control humanity. But they were wrong. Layla had endured the unimaginable, and she had never given up hope. As the last remnants of the Empire fell, Earth's leaders knew they had to rescue Layla. She was more than just a victim. She was a symbol of everything humanity stood for. She had shown the galaxy that no matter how broken someone was, they could rise again. Her strength had inspired an entire planet. And now, it was time for her to be free. The mission to rescue Layla was simple but dangerous. She was being held on one of the Empire's last remaining strongholds, a heavily fortified space station. Earth's fleet, now in full control, sent their best soldiers to retrieve her. But it wasn't just about getting her out. It was about bringing her home, about showing the galaxy that the Empire could never defeat the human spirit. The soldiers, led by Commander Marcus Stone himself, landed on the station's surface. They moved quickly, silently, using their advanced technology to avoid detection. The station was filled with the last few remnants of the Empire's forces, but they were no match for the humans. The soldiers stormed the station, taking control of it in a matter of hours. Layla was their priority. They knew she was the key to the future, the key to showing the galaxy that humanity was not just a force of destruction, but a force of hope. When they found her, she was locked in a small cell, barely alive but still strong. Her eyes were full of pain, but there was something else there too: hope. She had heard the news. She knew the Empire had fallen. She knew Earth was coming for her. And now, finally, they had come. Commander Stone was the first to approach her. He didn't speak at first. He just looked at her, letting the moment sink in. Layla had suffered so much, but now she was free. It was a powerful moment, not just for her, but for everyone watching. This was the end of the Empire's reign, the end of humanity's struggle. This was the moment the galaxy would remember forever. "Layla," Commander Stone said softly, his voice filled with respect. "We're taking you home." For the first time in years, Layla smiled. It was a small smile, but it was enough. She had been through hell, but she had survived. And now she was going to see Earth, the home she had only dreamed of. The journey back to Earth was filled with mixed emotions. There was celebration, but there was also a deep sense of reflection. Layla had been a symbol of what humanity could endure. She had inspired millions, but she was also a reminder of the price that had been paid for Earth's victory. Many lives had been lost, many battles fought, but in the end, it had all been worth it. When Layla finally set foot on Earth's surface, she was greeted as a hero. Crowds lined the streets, cheering and celebrating her freedom. To them, she wasn't just a girl. She was a symbol of the power of human resilience. She had shown them that no matter how much pain one endured, no matter how dark the days became, there was always hope. And now she was free. Layla's story became a legend. Children learned about her in school. Her face was painted on murals across the planet. Her journey from captivity to freedom inspired generations. She became more than just a person. She became a symbol of humanity's strength, courage, and never-ending hope. But for Layla, the real victory wasn't in the fame or the attention. It was in the freedom she had gained. It was in knowing that she had played a part in the liberation of her people and the defeat of the Empire. She knew that her suffering had been a catalyst for something greater, something that would change the course of history. As she stood on the balcony of the Earth Government building, looking out over the people who had come to honor her, Layla realized something important. The war was over, but the work wasn't done. There was still much to be done to rebuild the galaxy, to ensure that what happened to her would never happen again. But with the power of humanity behind her, she knew they could accomplish anything. The girl who had once been a prisoner of the Empire had become the symbol of Earth's strength. And now, she would lead the way into a future of peace and hope for all. The Empire's reign was finally over. The once mighty force that had controlled the galaxy with fear and cruelty was no more. Earth had not just defeated them. They had broken their spirit, crushed their power, and proven that no empire could stand against the strength of humanity. It had been a long and bloody battle. But now, Earth stood victorious. The final days of the Empire were filled with chaos. The once unified forces of the Galactic Empire were scattered, with no leader to guide them. Their fleets had been decimated, their planets reclaimed, and their armies shattered. What was left of the Empire was a broken, desperate shell of what it had once been. Commander Marcus Stone stood in the heart of Earth's war room, watching as the final reports came in. The last of the Empire's strongholds had fallen. Their leader had been captured. The last remnants of their military had surrendered. Earth had won. The galaxy was free. But despite the victory, the atmosphere was somber. The war had cost countless lives. So many brave soldiers, civilians, and leaders had given everything to bring an end to the Empire's reign. The price of freedom had been high, but it had been worth it. Earth had fought not just for survival, but for justice, for the right to live in peace. And now, They had that peace. As the final reports of the Empire's collapse were broadcast across the galaxy, people everywhere celebrated. Across Earth, massive crowds gathered in cities and towns, their faces full of joy and relief. The sound of cheering filled the air, the claps of victory echoing through the streets. The humans had done the impossible. They had faced the most powerful force in the galaxy and brought it to its knees. Now they would enjoy the fruits of their labor, freedom. But for many, there was still work to be done. The victory had been hard-earned, and the galaxy was far from healed. Earth's leaders knew that they could not simply celebrate and forget the devastation left in the Empire's wake. The damage done by the Empire had to be repaired. The millions who had suffered under their rule needed help. Earth had to step up, not just as a conqueror, but as a healer. Earth's first priority was the people of the former Empire. They had been oppressed, controlled, and manipulated for so long. It was time for a new beginning. Earth's leaders sent humanitarian missions to every world that had been under the Empire's thumb, offering aid, rebuilding cities, and ensuring that no one would go hungry or homeless. At the same time, Earth worked to stabilize the galaxy. They knew that the power vacuum left by the Empire's fall could lead to even more conflict. Many factions and groups would fight for control, and Earth needed to make sure that peace would reign. The United Earth government, now a symbol of unity and strength, began negotiations with the leaders of different worlds. It was time to rebuild, to create a new order, and to ensure that the mistakes of the past would never be repeated. Commander Stone, now a hero among his people, stood before a large crowd, his face somber as he addressed them. "We have won," he said, his voice steady and strong. "But our work is not done. We have shown the galaxy that humanity cannot be broken, that we will fight for what is right. But now we must lead with kindness, with justice, and with the promise of a better future for all." The crowd erupted in applause. They had heard the words before, but they believed in them now. The war was over, and Earth had won. But it wasn't just about the victory. It was about what came next. The future was in their hands, and they would make sure that the galaxy would never again know the horrors that had come from the Empire. In the days that followed, the leaders of Earth began to establish a new government, one that would represent all the people of the galaxy, not just Earth. It was a bold move, one that was met with resistance from some of the galaxy's remaining powers, but Earth was unyielding. They had the strength, the will, and the right to lead, and they would. As Earth's influence spread across the galaxy, it became clear that the old ways were gone. The Empire's systems of control, fear, and oppression were being replaced with cooperation, fairness, and justice. The former slaves of the Empire were now free. The planets that had been crushed under the Empire's boot were now rising once again. The galaxy, though scarred, was healing. For Commander Stone, the victory was bittersweet. He had lost so much along the way: friends, allies, and comrades. But as he looked out at the stars, he knew that humanity had done something incredible. They had defeated the greatest force the galaxy had ever known. And now, they were rebuilding, stronger than ever. The Empire was gone. The darkness had been driven back. And in its place, Earth stood tall, proud, and ready to lead the galaxy into a new era of peace. The victory had been won, not just on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of every person who had fought, every person who had dreamed of a better future. Earth had shown the galaxy that strength wasn't just about power. It was about standing together, about fighting for what was right, and about never giving up, no matter the cost. Earth had won, and the galaxy would never be the same again.